We are excited to jump on the Rude Guest Hotline right now and welcome in our friend Lindsay Czarniak. Lindsay, what's up? How are you?
Hey, I'm great. How are you guys?
We are fantastic. Before we get started, though, Lindsay, how do football players stay cool during the game?
They stand by the fans.
You got it.
Okay, BMitch, you gotta. You know what? I might post that one today, and if so, I'm going to give you credit. Can I collab with you?
Yeah,
Will you do it?
You got that. Yes.
Czar,
Okay,
don't laugh at this. During the break, B's like, "Oh, we got Lindsay coming up. I got to find a joke," and he was like trying different jokes with me. Tell her the other one that you liked.
Oh, the other one was what is the favorite? What is the favorite sport of insects?
Of insects?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know this one.
Cricket.
What is it?
I'm telling you, we were
good.
workshopping this, Lindsay.
I love it. I absolutely love it. It's so funny. It's so funny because my kids are like, "Oh, Mom, stop!"
I bet.
So annoying.
Kids,
But it's so good.
there's
It's so
nothing
good.
parents can do that kids think is cool. That's just
Right.
kind of.
I like to laugh, so I like to look at stuff like that.
BMitch,
very true.
if you don't know what BMitch is talking about, you can follow Lindsay on Instagram at LindsayCZ, LindsayCZ, and she posts these like kind of dad jokes, parent jokes, whatever you want to call them,
Yeah.
in a very fun fashion. So let's
Thank
talk.
you.
Let's talk your work stuff first, and then we'll talk some football as we're gearing up for the season.
Sweet.
You've teamed up with Shaquille O'Neal's production company to work on this Game Day Murders. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, so it's on ID, which is on Investigation Discovery, and it's called Game Day Murders, and it is the intersection of sports and true crime, really, sports and murder. So it's wild. So here's how it started. It was they asked me a while back to be a part of a documentary that ID was doing on Aaron Hernandez, and partially because when I was at SportsCenter, we covered that a lot. And so I was a voice in this documentary, and the process was really interesting to me. It was something I had never done. My part was sort of a role that I hadn't been in before, because you're sort of hosting, but you're more just lending your voice. Mm-hmm. So out of that, they said, hey, we want to do more like this, and we would love to work with you on a series. And I really was like, how are we going to find enough stories like this in different sports, especially marquee sports that we haven't heard about, but anyway, long story short, they're there. And this is a series where it's 6 episodes, and it is different stories about true crime that has occurred in sports. These are all real stories. They're all different sports. And it's just been a fascinating experience. So we were embarking on that. And then Shaq, it was like, hey, Shaq's company, he loves this type of content. They're interested in partnering to do this. So it just organically kind of happened, which was amazing because my reaction was like anything he does, it's so great. And he's so invested. So it's been awesome. And he is like full of ideas. He is a true crime junkie for sure, like no joke. And he's all hours of the night, he will send texts about like ideas, and he's just really involved, which is really, really cool. And it was, for me, I first met him when I was living in Miami before I came to Washington, and he joined the Miami Heat. And so, I've covered him like obviously as an athlete, which I've always been a fan of, but to work with him in this way is really eye-opening,
Well, is that his, because he's an honorary police or a sheriff, something like that. Does that mindset go hand in hand with him loving this type of thing?
100%, I think. And it's like, now me, having worked with him a bit with this, it's like what I observe and what I've realized is he sort of always is leaning into his curiosities, and when it comes to that, the work that he did with the sheriff's office, he really, really is interested in true crime, but also he has such a belief in justice and all that. So it's like twofold, and I think also with these stories, like part of my role is connecting the dots for viewers on what is the culture like in that certain sport, like what does it look like? Take us into what a locker room is like and camaraderie, et cetera, all that stuff. And so he definitely, I think that really appeals to him also, because obviously he has lived that. But he really like, I have never seen someone take something that they're interested in so many different ways, in so many different fields, and just like turn it into things. Like, I was shopping for school supplies with my son at Staples, and I turn around and there's like a huge poster of Shaq talking about printers. You know what I mean? I'm like, it's like everything he does, but he has such an awesome just approach to life. And the cool thing I will say, and then I'll shut up, but like, is you sort of get a glimpse working with him in this of what he must have been like as a teammate. Do you know what I mean? Just because he's super supportive. He's super like cheerleader also. Like, he'll just send a text and be like, wow, what an episode. You know what I mean? Like, so that's pretty cool. BMitch, like,
he keeps pushing it. But like the thing I like, for me, when I first heard Game Day Murders, I'm like, whoa. Right. The name makes you think like something happened on the day, but like it's really about things just around sports, though, right?
Right. Like, it's not necessarily the actual game day. However, like, one of the ones that I found most shocking was this true crime scenario in the NHL, and it was happening during the Stanley Cup playoffs. So like, that is crazy, right? So yeah, and to be honest, when we were first talking about this, like, sports is a place that we all go for, like, we live it because it's our job, but you go for a release. So at first I was like, I don't know how this feels to be like talking about murder when, sports makes you happy.
Yeah.
But it's really, I think that these stories are fascinating, and I think a lot of them speak to culture and also like a world that I'm not too far away from now with like kids in sports, and like the level that you'll go to give your kids every opportunity to be a star athlete, and what happens when. The other thing I found fascinating was like, at the core of these crimes or murders, and this is not unlike Dateline or something else that you watch, it's like you realize that the little seed that turned into the thing that went way off the rails is an emotion that we can all relate to, whether it's like, drive or pride or like jealousy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So... Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, well, I wanted to kind of specifically ask. I think the episode on Sean Taylor is coming out this coming Monday, and folks can stream it on HBO Max. That's how I'm going to watch it. And for you that know the Sean Taylor story and know the impact in this community and down in Miami, and know so many of his former teammates and stuff. What is this Sean Taylor episode going to mean for folks?
I think that what I'm hoping people will take away from this, because everyone knows, most people know the story, is more of context about who he was and like the teammate, and also just the person in a sense that he was becoming, or that you didn't see behind the scenes like that. Those are some stories that I have heard that I hadn't realized. I think, you will hear from some people who we haven't heard from before, including his mom. And I think it's more of that. It is, in some senses, it's more detail than, or different detail than we've had in other stories, meaning some recordings, some, 911 call type things. So I think, those are some of the things that I think will be new to people. But overall, it is, it is the story, but it is also with some context that, because you guys know, because you were there, obviously, like, this is also, there were really strong feelings once this happened, right? And so I think not shying away from that, but sort of digging into that will be part of what people will get.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking with our friend Lindsay Czarniak ahead of Sean Taylor episode of Game Day Murders coming Monday night at 10 p.m. on ID. You can also stream it via HBO Max. You can give Lindsay a follow at Lindsay CZ. Lindsay, I'm curious this time of year for somebody like you that worked up close in football for so long. Now, obviously things have transitioned. Like, how do you get ready for football season? Are you like calling coaches, reaching out, like getting information, or what do you do now?
I love that. So I just started a gig with CBS HQ, which I'm super excited about because it is, it's super fun, and it's not far from where I live, but it is like, they are streaming, so it is 24/7. So when I do it, I am the night side. And so for me, it's back to highlights and a lot of that, which is a really fun muscle to flex when you haven't in a while, like getting to jump into it in that regard. So this is really the first time in a bit that I have been like, okay, here we go. Like now I've got to be up. I follow it. Like I have not stopped following it, but it's like until you have a reason. So now I'm just trying to consume everything that I can consume. And I do love that about like just talking to people and being as close to the real stuff that's going on. Like that's the part of our type of job that I love and that I miss the most when it's not there. Do you know what I mean? Just the actual, like I will tell you, going from DC to ESPN, I loved my time at ESPN. The one thing that was instantly felt so different is you're not out at Commanders, like, practice every day. And so you are telling the stories and you're obviously talking to reporters, but I really miss that part of it. I love that part of it. Just like, back in the day, I didn't necessarily like in the moment love the grind of like, okay, you're out at Redskins Park and now you're coming back and you're doing the 5, 6, and 11 JP, which by the way, like is what you do.
Right.
And then you do 17 other jobs on top of it.
Yes, he does.
But that's the grind that I really miss is like, I found out quickly, I'm like, oh, I don't like talking about this story when I could have gotten that information and I'm not, like you're not hearing it for yourself. So I think that's the craft, right? So I do love being able to do that as much as possible. But by the way, I was just back in DC because I was there for the IndyCar race, and I stopped by Channel 4, and they were singing your praises, and it was like they were rattling off all the different jobs that you do, and I'm like, he is an absolute beast. Like, I don't know how you sleep or what else, you know what I mean?
You'll really appreciate this.
He don't sleep. He aging.
I have sleep agents, but you'll appreciate this specifically, and B knows this because we talked about it during the week. So the Commanders are having a joint practice with the Ravens today.
Yes.
And due to, we'll call it scheduling conflicts, we weren't able to go broadcast the radio show from there. And because of the times of the practice, like there was no way for me to be there and do this job, which I have to do, right? So I'm going to be in studio all afternoon, and I'll be, throwing to highlights of practice and sound from practice. And it's just that role for me is so unusual that like I'm wrapping my brain around it.
You'd rather be there.
But I want to be there person. Like I want to.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
I want to have the conversation as a guy walks off that's not on camera. You know what I mean? It is a different feeling.
It gives you a better feeling of what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Totally. And then you can ask the questions and like, but when we were, when Mike was rattling off what you were doing, I was like, that is exactly what I knew. I was like, I know that that's how you're wired. And I think it's awesome because I think this, now it's like jobs are morphing in ways that people don't have to do that all the time. And I think that it's, it's such a great foundation of just journalism, but also just really being in the know. And it's this cool combo of like beat reporting, but also, then you've got the platform to share it to that community or whatever, the audience is. So I don't know. I think you're a badass.
You're very kind. You're a great person to ask this. And I think this is somewhere between much ado about nothing and maybe something to pay attention to. But the Commanders organizationally started selling 3 T-shirts in their pro shop, if you will, at the stadium. You can get a Darryl Green shirt, an Art Monk shirt, or a Sean Taylor shirt. And it has the old logo, the Redskins logo on there. And it actually prints out, Washington Redskins and then their historical accomplishments on the back.
Wow.
Now, the team has been super clear. We're not changing the name, but they are re-embracing the past. Kind of what do you make of that as somebody that saw, you grew up here and then you saw kind of the universe unfold over time?
I mean, meaning the name, like specifically.
Just them
the name,
kind of rolling out some Skins merchandise at this point.
I mean, it's tricky. Like I think that when you can celebrate the past, I think that you should celebrate the past. So I think that those players should be honored. And I think that makes sense. In other teams, you're going to go in a pro shop and see that, they sell legendary jerseys. If you mean like just the controversy, obviously surrounding that name, I think that, and look, like it's dicey. Like at SportsCenter, I had made the decision not to use it, and it's every single time like I say it or I'm describing something having to do with the Commanders, it's like you have to think about, okay, how am I, how am I referring to that? So I understand that is what the team was. And so I think for myself, I am grateful, glad that they changed the name. I think that if you're honoring the past, they were what they were then. And I don't think that it should be a thing that is highly criticized.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just think that
what do you guys think?
If you try to, I always feel if you try to explain what went on then, you can't talk about it like it's today.
I agree.
And I think that's where people get confused that, like, if you mention something that happened in 1981 or 1986 or 1992, you can't throw the current name into it because it does not make sense to no one.
Yeah, and I think that two things can be okay and true. I think that it can be okay and accurate that we know that is not an okay name to be using. Mm-hmm. I think that we can be clear with that is not okay. What we are doing is honoring the past, and that is what that was. And BMitch, I agree with you. Like, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, I've been in settings, especially recently, talking about the Sean Taylor story of Game Day Murders, where it's like, if I'm sharing a story about how I went out to Commanders practice, my initial reaction is wanting to say the park. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and it's like, so it's a slippery slope, and I hope that people have enough, can understand that part of it, that it's like you're honoring, and it does change it if you're changing up what it was when you're saying
for sure
that time frame.
Yeah.
The what actually matters on the field. How do you think the Commanders will do this season?
I'm hopeful. I love the addition of Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
And I am really hoping that I hope that Jaden stays healthy. And I am hopeful. So at this moment, I am feeling positive until we see otherwise. I worry about the offensive line health and all that. And so that's kind of where I am right now, is I have hope because of what we saw 2 seasons ago.
Yep.
And I am, but I understand why this is not people, I'm sure, have.
No, it's, they are really banged up right now. But it's important to note they don't play a real game right now. You know what I mean? So we'll see what this looks like kind of 2 weeks from now. We'll be watching, though, Monday night with the Sean Taylor Game Day Murders episode on ID, or you can stream it on HBO Max. Lindsay, thank you for making time for us. Always great to catch up with you.
Always great to talk to you. My Instagram post.
Yeah. I will be. All right.
Okay. I need you to text me the full joke so I get all the words right. Okay, thank you.
I might be able to him asking. White Brian, cut that video of me asking Lindsay the joke, and I'll text her.
Please do it. Okay, that would be epic. Yeah. Love it. All right, you guys rock.
That's our friend Lindsay Czarniak. Give her a follow on Instagram at Lindsay C. Actual ball. You good with that?
What kind of tea does hockey players like?
Iced tea?
Pinot tea.